This Joe Theismann and Super Bowl DFS edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Colorado, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Arizona, Louisiana, and New York. From boosted parlays to in-game odds in every major sport, WynnBET has what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $10, get $200 in free bets. Download the WynnBET app now or visit wynnbet.com and start winning today. We're also brought to you by Stable Duel. Stable Duel is a horse racing DFS app where you can play free and paid games for real cash prizes. You can win as much as $15,000 with one entry. Head over to StableDuel.com to get started today. We're also brought to you by Better Fantasy. Better Fantasy is a free-to-play app that lets you bet on all your favorite NFL player props for a chance to win awesome prizes. Download the app today over at betterfantasy.com/SGPN. We're also brought to you by PropSwap, America's marketplace to buy and sell sports bets. Use promo code SGP on your first deposit to receive up to $500 in bonus cash. Head over to PropSwap.com or download the PropSwap app today. We're also brought to you by ThriveFantasy. ThriveFantasy is a $100,000 guaranteed contest for the big game, plus a 100% instant deposit match at ThriveFantasy.com. Promo code SGP. And of course, don't forget to download the SGPN app and enter the free Super Bowl props contest for your chance to win $100,000.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Ooh, welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I am Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. Oh my God. Just a grind. This whole week's been a grind.
Rise and grind.
No one's working harder. Doing college basketball in the night.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Doing interviews in the day. I just, Super Bowl. Yes.
Super Bowl. Yes. I'll save the official Super Bowl song for the day of the Super Bowl. I know people have been asking when is it going to drop. I'll save it for the pregame show, Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific. That's right. More content coming at you. We're on day 9 days in a row, a free podcast, free picks. Couldn't do it without you guys. The audience been killing it. Appreciate everyone spreading the word. Appreciate telling all your friends and family. Download the SGPN app. Get in on that free shot to win 100 grand. Ryan, we're making new friends, catching up with old friends, and got an awesome interview coming up with a friend of the program, Joe Theismann. That was great. Then we're going to come back. We're going to give out our Thrive Fantasy prop lineup. Simple over unders on some player props. ThriveFantasy.com, promo code SGP, and then close it out with our DFS lineup. Oh man, it's been an awesome Super Bowl week here so far. Can't wait for the game. Obviously, want to shout out the team that makes it all happen. WynnBET, baby. WynnBET is the train, and the DGen listeners, you guys are the coal that really keep it on the rails, keep it firing away. Make sure to check out WynnBET, wynnbet.com. Bet big, win bigger over at WynnBET Louisiana. We Tigers, you are live with WynnBET. New York, forget about it. Betting on weak sportsbook, forget about it. Capiche? Head over to WynnBET.com. Obviously, the big game. We're giving out build your own bets. We're going to be tweeting out some more over at Gambling Podcast. But WynnBET, man, the build your bet so fun. The live in-game wagering. Super Bowl is perfect for that. Tons of fun player props. So much action. Again, we've given out over $3 million in Super Bowl prop bets.
Over $3 million.
Make sure you head over to WynnBET.com. Offers subject to change. Terms and conditions apply. WynnBET.com. Must be 21 or older. Present in the state where playthrough WynnBET is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Gambling Podcast. We are live here on Radio Row. Joining us, friend of the program, Super Bowl champ himself, legend Joe Theismann. Joe, Thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome, guys. Great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to meet you in person.
I was going to say, feel like we've been working with you for a couple years since we placed the book in the studio.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to have you on. So yeah, like Sean said, very nice to meet you.
I
in person.
appreciate it too. You know, before we went on here, we were just talking a little bit about the fact that for me, Radio Row gives me a chance to put faces with the voices.
Yeah.
So many of you guys that I've had a chance to talk to never really get a chance to see until I get here, and that's what I really enjoy a lot about Radio Row is the chance to be able to say hi in person to a lot of people.
Check in, hang out.
As a first timer, I will say, like, just seeing the random what's ups, how you been, how's the family, like it feels very much like a barbecue, a family reunion where guys haven't seen each other for years. I'm sure the pandemic's impacting that, but
it has
been a pleasure to see.
Obviously, the last couple of years, it's been difficult as far as being able to have people together, be able to sit and visit and talk, and to see the athletes that come through and the different individuals. And, you know, it's a chance also to run into people I haven't seen that played in the league.
Yeah.
Different people come in promoting something, as we all do during this time here. So, and for me, it's a company called MedLiminal. And we may as well do it now because I mentioned
let's talk MedLiminal.
What it is basically, it's called MedLiminal, MedLiminal. And what we do is we examine, we talk to businesses and we examine their medical bills to make sure that they're accurate. That's a simple way of putting it. If you go to the website, medliminal.com, it'll tell you a lot more information. But I really feel like every business should take the opportunity to be able to examine their healthcare costs.
Yeah.
Because if there's a place that you can save money, that could be one. And I say this pretty much unequivocally, that I don't know anybody out there, very few people, that can look at a medical bill and tell you what is accurate and what is not. And that's what MedLiminal does, is we have this huge HCAT technology. We run it through the computers, and then we have nurses and healthcare experts examine it as well and really find out if a company is being overcharged and there is inaccuracies in the billing. And it's that simple. And to me, it's no harm, no foul.
MedLiminal, pipe lock. Let's go.
I was going to say, this sounds like something someone should be doing in many walks of life, but yeah, who can read a medical bill?
No,
that's what my wife takes care of that. So I got to be honest, Joe, I haven't looked at one in a while.
And I guarantee you, if you ask her, I know she's a smart woman, and I'm sure, you know, you outkicked your coverage. I guarantee you have. I know that for sure. But it's difficult sometimes to decipher.
And they make it difficult. So make sure you check out MedLiminal. Now, Joe, last time we talked, you were a former Washington football team quarterback, and now you're a former Commander quarterback. What do you make of the name change?
Stay with us. We're changing. You know, just hang with us.
But what about the diehard football team guys?
I mean, the Washington Redskin fans appreciate them so much.
Yeah.
We won our world championships as Washington Redskins. That's a part of our history. It can't be taken away. Those are the memories that our fans have and we have, which is so wonderful. But in this day and age that we're living in, pardon me, in this day and age that we're living in, change is inevitable. We see change in every aspect of our lives. And now we're the Commanders. And this is what I ask people to do. Instead of saying, yes, I like it, no, I don't like it, take some time to let it digest a little bit. Walk around the house.
Walk around.
You know what?
I'm a Commanders fan.
Sean, we're gonna have to let Colby know, because Colby, of course, close personal friend of yours, very unhappy about the name
I understand.
change.
He's old school.
I understand,
but we'll tell him.
But
Maybe a 24, 48-hour period.
It's just more than that with Colby. Okay, we know it's going to take just a little bit longer with Colby.
A couple weeks.
I said, walk around, talk about it, look in the mirror.
Well, you know, as an Eagles fan, I gotta get used to the idea.
Yeah, I hate the Commanders.
I used to hate the Redskins.
That rolled right off your tongue.
Now I hate the football team, and now I hate the Commanders. Those gosh darn Commanders.
See, it rolls out, and I think what it is it fits in wonderfully with the Washington area, the DMV, District of Columbia, Maryland, Virginia, because what we're talking about is, I think of the San Francisco 49ers, you know, the miners out in 49ers. Well, the Commanders, it's the seat of our military power. And I think it honors our military in that regard.
He's winning me over.
And so for me, it was coming. It is changed. And let's just get behind it and give this young group of players a chance to have a legacy to establish on their own. We did it. You know, they can't take away what we did. We accomplished a lot as Washington Redskins. Now we're moving to a different era in football, a different era in our lives, and I think a different era when it comes to calling the Washington football team.
A commanding era of Washington
A very
football.
commanding. We will have a commanding presence.
Yes.
And if the Commanders ever do get in first place, they will have a commanding lead. I'm sure you're going to see
We're
that a
going to
lot in the
strive for a
headlines.
commanding lead. This is some of the fun we're going to have.
tabloids are gonna love it.
Somebody said, "Well, how do you shorten the name Commanders?" You know, it's like the
New York
you
Post.
can't shorten the Eagles either.
No, yeah, we
You know,
don't call
what
them
are
the
you,
Eags.
Hey,
No,
you going to watch the Eags today? I don't think so.
Going to go watch the Giants? Like it just doesn't.
If I had the Gents, if I had to guess, the Commanders are going to be turned into the Commies by the New York Post at some point. So just stay tuned for that.
Going
Yeah,
red.
you never know. You never know.
And Joe, you're talking about a new era. You're talking about things changing. Hopefully, this doesn't become an annual tradition for the Commanders.
No.
But last year we talked. There was questions at the quarterback position. This year, it seems like there's again kind of questions as to who is going to be the Commanders' quarterback. What are your thoughts going into the draft? Very interesting draft class. It's not like last year where it was obvious all these guys were going to be taken high. Do you think Commanders draft a quarterback in the first round? Do they look free agency or do they settle with what they got?
I think if you look free agency, it's sort of hard to find. I like the backup in Baltimore. I like him.
Huntley, yeah, he's fun.
I like Huntley. I think he throws the ball well. I think he fits into this quote unquote modern era of athleticism. I thought when he played for Lamar, I thought he did an excellent job because they've got to make a decision on Lamar's salary.
Yeah,
I mean, what is it, a $40 million guy? I mean, John's hooked his wagon to him, and so that's what it may look. So Huntley becomes, to me, I think, the most attractive in the free agent market. Some people have mentioned Jimmy G. Some people have mentioned Carson Wentz. I'm sort of leaning towards Huntley in that particular respect. But I still think we need to draft one.
Yeah,
you can't keep just bringing guys in like a Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, do you know, since I got hurt in 1985, I believe this number is correct, 39 different starting quarterbacks in Washington in
It's almost as bad
36
as the
years.
Bears.
Well, and Cleveland went through another situation like that. So I think they need to commit that way to something. It's a new name.
yeah.
The colors stayed the same, which is absolutely essential and great. I think that's really the foundation of who we are. And now we have a new name and possibly an opportunity for somebody young to come in. Remember, where was Tom Brady drafted?
Late.
6th.
Yeah,
you go.
5th round.
Joe Montana.
Yeah,
3rd.
late.
Joe Theismann. 4th.
Yep.
How many number 1 picks do you see just sort? Look at the struggles they had with
Jared Goff,
Matthew
yes.
Stafford.
Yeah, same type of
all
thing.
these different individuals that have been drafted number 1. And, so now you build a team around them.
And the Eagles fan base gave Howie Roseman, general manager there, a bunch of grief when he described the team as a quarterback factory. They're like, oh, that's silly. But really, I think there is something to it where, hey, maybe you got this guy for this year, Jalen Hurts, but also it's still okay to draft because especially in the late rounds, you might get lucky. You might find a diamond in the rough. You might find a Tom Brady, a Joe Theismann. Why not, roll the dice, especially in the later rounds?
If you have a late round pick and you want to add a quarterback to it, why not? And there's nothing wrong with competition, unless you're in college today where the kids just decide they don't want to compete. Don't get me started on this portal. Okay, don't get me started on the portal.
Now you're on Colby's side.
All right, let me just. I mean, if things get tough. Don't stick it out. Just go find someplace else to go. What are we trying to teach young people
It
today?
really is. And again,
mean, come on.
I feel
Wait, Joe, we got to take you take the team name out of your social media profile. That's step 1. And then you just play you silent treatment. You don't talk to them. It's like Kyler's doing it right now. Like, what are these guys up to?
It's one of those things where the transfer portal, the idea of
work harder.
We want to be fair to the players. If they're in a bad situation, they should have some, control over their own destiny. But these guys who get benched and then all of a sudden are like, hey, I'm done. Again, as an Eagles fan, that was what was frustrating about Carson Wentz. When he got benched, there was no, hey, I'm going to do everything I can to get the job back. I wasn't playing well. Here's what I'm going to do to play better. It was, I want out.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
And you see guys, because there aren't a lot of quarterbacks, you see guys making demands, and the team basically has to pay them a lot of money.
To hold them hostage.
Look at the Dallas Cowboys. Dak was certainly their best option, and the market bears what he got paid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not his fault that the market's at that number. It's a matter of fact his benefit. Unfortunately, I think Dak and Baker Mayfield are in similar situations, and nobody was willing to talk about it. When you throw the football, your left arm is as important as your right for balance. Baker didn't have a left arm to work with, and that's why I think we saw the inaccuracies. We'll see a better Baker Mayfield next year.
And he may have really hurt himself. I mean, obviously physically, but playing through the pain and putting up these poor numbers and poor performances instead of just getting the surgery and maybe sitting out the rest of the season.
Yeah, but that's the difference in
like the
us and
toughness,
other
though.
people. You know, it's like, I'm not giving up the job. I'm going to go out and play, and which I respect.
You love the attitude.
And Dak's the same way.
Yeah.
There's no way Dak played healthy this year. I don't care what anybody says.
And you look at his numbers before and after.
Injury. It's a 2-year injury. First you have a shoulder issue because you don't have the power in your right leg. It changes the throwing mechanism. It strains your arm in a different way than having just a tired arm. And secondly, you have a calf issue. Those are things that he had to overcome. But yet he continued to play because he loves the game, because he was committed to the Cowboys, because he wanted to do the best he could. And he felt like he could contribute in that regard. And I don't blame anybody down there for playing him, but that was not the Dak Prescott that the Cowboys expected to see, that Dak expected to be. I think next year both of those guys will be different football players. They'll be healthier. They'll have a chance to be able to do the things that they did before.
Well, Joe, I know you're a very busy guy. Before we let you go, got to get your thoughts on Super Bowl 56. Two very interesting quarterback stories of Matthew Stafford, of course, in Detroit all those years, and then young upstart Joe Burrow making a Super Bowl here in his second year. What are your thoughts going into the game? Who do you like? How do you think it plays out?
I think this game is going to be like the playoffs have been. I think it could be one of these walk-off games.
Yeah.
Could be down to the last 7 minutes. I made a prediction. Scores would be 24-21 Rams. Winning score is going to happen with 57 seconds to go. And if that happens, I will come back. I absolutely will come back.
Joe,
because I will open my own little psychic center.
Yes, exactly.
Joe, we're on the same wavelength because I told the audience earlier this week in our initial prediction show, I had a dream 24-21 Rams. So
Really?
Mines are coming together. I like the Bengals, especially with the 4.5. I'm with you though. I do think it's going to be a close game.
By predicting it by 3, I don't cover the number.
Yeah, exactly.
As I look at it.
Smart man there.
Well, but I really listen.
But all these games have been
good. If the Cincinnati Bengals win this, nobody should be surprised.
No,
it's true.
No one should be surprised. Say, wow, they really can. They're not an underdog in this team. To me, they're the spread for some reason is set where it is, and I'm always amazed at when people set spreads and over and unders. The over and unders of 48.5. I think it's an under game.
Yeah.
Because again, defense wins championships.
Yep.
I just can't see either of these teams going up and down the field in a shootout.
No,
I just can't see it.
And the bow on it is, as you mentioned, like Stafford, kind of like the last of a dying breed of quarterback. Didn't complain in Detroit the entire time. Did his job, and now maybe this is the karma, the football karma paying off.
Maybe it's paying back for him.
Got to ask though, Joe, on the road, what is the Oreo situation? Because we didn't bring any Oreos, and the last time we had you on, we know your
Very
wife.
upset.
Look at
It's too early. We didn't want
upset.
to. I didn't know if you'd had
vanilla or the chocolate one, either one. The original Oreos or the vanilla Oreos would have been fine.
Do you stay on East Coast time when it's Oreo time? Do we adjust it 3 hours?
No, I eat it anytime. I'll reach in
Day
my
or
little
night,
bag
ready
and
to go
day or
for
night
those
I'll
Oreos.
just jump into an Oreo. Absolutely.
All right. Well, Joe,
Thanks, guys.
appreciate the time. Make sure you check out MedLiminal to get all your medical bills straight. Find out any potential savings for you or your business. Joe, appreciate the time as always.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate having you on.
Thank you. IP Vanish. That's right. You flip over to incognito mode. You're not actually protected, Ryan. Ryan tells me this all the time. He's like, what are you doing? Your passwords, your comms, your browsing history. Anyone could be getting at that. ISPs, prying eyes, hackers, your competition. That's right. You got to use IP Vanish. First off, it's awesome. Unlimited devices. So computers, tablets, phones. I mean, think how many times you're doing online banking on the go, or again, we are
#Legends only.
Maybe you're getting into some stuff on the internet you don't want anyone to know about, or maybe you're just using your bank password. Hey, whatever it is, it's your business, not everyone else's. That's why IP Vanish is great. Again, you need a VPN like IP Vanish. Take your privacy back today. With the brand rated 4.6.5 out of 5 on Trustpilot. That is very high ranking. And the best part is 70% off, almost the entire year free. IPVanish.com/SGP, 70% off. Are you kidding me? IPVanish.com/SGP.
Can I give you a pro tip?
Yes.
Unsolicited. Some people might connect IPVanish to their devices and think nothing of it and think they're hyper secure. You got to up it one more level. Throw it on your router.
Oh, nice.
Whole house is protected. You don't have any rogue devices coming in. Maybe it's something you don't have control over. So yeah, Sean.
Love it.
I like that information security conversation.
Oh yes, this is right up your wheelhouse.
Stay tuned. We're going to be launching maybe an IT gambling podcast this year. All right. What are we here to talk? We've talked about everything.
We have.
We've reviewed thousands of props.
So you probably know some of the sides we're gonna be on, but
no, you know everything at this point.
Exactly.
We've run naked through the quad.
Very fun to break down this Thrive Fantasy contest. Again, ThriveFantasy.com, promo code SGP. They're giving away $100,000 guaranteed, $20,000 to the first place winner. Over under on your favorite player props. And the cool thing is what they do is instead of juice, it's different points. So like an under for one guy might be 105, for another guy it might be 130, and that's kind of how they price things out. You pick 10 of your favorite and there's 20 to choose from. Very easy.
Can we hit the announcement?
Yes.
or breaking news? The massive overlay right now,
really?
$70,000 overlay. So
Jesus. All right. So yeah, if you needed one more reason to get on Thrive Fantasy, and when you use our promo code SGP, instant deposit bonus, plus you get a couple free entries as well. Instant deposit bonus up to $100, 100% match. Doesn't get any better. I'll kick things off. Matthew Stafford. I don't think he's going to have a great game. I'm going under 290.5 passing yards. Feels a bit high. Under pays 105 points. Again, I think the Bengals defense comes out like Joe Theismann. I think it's a grinded out game. He's on the under as well for the game. But yeah, I just don't see. I don't see Stafford getting to 300 yards.
Sorry, I'm clicking around. I clicked off the goddamn lineup, and I have zero idea how to get back into it.
All right, Ryan. While you're figuring that out, he was probably just firing up IPVanish, trying to get into some dark websites. I also like T Higgins. T Higgins to me, and we'll get more when we actually do the DFS lineup. But T Higgins to me is the guy.
Yeah.
That I think is really going to shine for the Bengals offense and just in general. I think this is a big game for both second receivers, and especially T Higgins. Over receiving yards 68.5. You're only getting 90 points because the juice is leaning that way. The public's leaning that way. But yeah, give me T Higgins over receiving yards.
I'll co-sign that one. I also have T Higgins to score a touchdown for 115 points. So
yeah, again,
I'm doubling down.
I'm big on T Higgins. Another one I got here, Jamar Chase under 7.5 catches.
Check. That's just a crazy big number.
That's so high. And the under only pays 90 points. I have a couple other long shots, but I'm going under on Jamar Chase.
Co-sign that one as well with you. Bouncing. Do you want to stay with the Bengals? Joe Burrow?
Go for it.
Under 282.5.
I'm on the
passing
over.
yards. This is a large number. I think the number in the wild is in the 270s, and that's even kind of steaming down. I think just from the fact that I'm still getting the 100 points on a bet that would very clearly be minus 135, 140. Yeah, give me Joe Burrow all day under.
I think if I was just
love the
being
passing
honest
defense of the Rams
and just breaking down the numbers, I would go under. Ryan.
Of course you would.
But I'm not fading Joey B. Joe Burr.
Okay.
In the big game, give me over 282.5.
Let's see what other Bengals do I have. Evan McPherson under 9.5 points. Another one that
also
just
have it. 2
points clear of the number in the wild, and we're getting 120 points for the under here.
9.5 is high. And again, this is game script. Kramer and I are both thinking it's going to be an under game. I mean, they could put up 24 points and you're still only at 6 kicking points, assuming he hits all his extra points. And 9 points is a lot. I mean, that's 4 field goals.
Well, he's been,
which he's been doing, but I'd rather take the under, and especially the plus 120 points.
Plus 120 points is crazy.
It's just good game theory.
Bouncing over to the Rams, Cam Akers under 62.5 rush yards for 100 points. I assume you're on that as well.
You know what? I'm looking at my thing. I didn't actually put that one in here.
Okay, so
I went under half rushing touchdowns. That was my Akers fade, and that's plus money as well, plus 120.
And I just leaned hard into the fade, and I took Sony Michel over 28.5 rushing yards. I like this to be a game where maybe the Rams are trying to eat some clock late in the game, and I think they're going to trust Sony Michel to do it over Cam Akers.
28 and Ryan, you left out the best part. The juice on the over for Sony Michel 130, and that's really, if you're going deep in these Thrive Fantasy game theory, over 130 is pretty awesome, and highly recommend. I think if you're going to win these, you can't just take all the favorites. You got to have a couple of these ones that'll get you plus odds.
Yeah, I think if I remember, you don't want to be too high, you don't want to be too low. You kind of want to be right around 1,000 in terms of points possible. It shows that you're doing the right amount of chalk and contrarian. All right. So last two for me.
Yep. I got 3 left.
Okay.
2 fades on Cooper Kupp.
Okay, so I'm on the complete opposite of that.
I'm going under 7.5 catches plus 125 points and under 110.5 receiving yards at 100 points.
Over 7.5 catches is ridiculous. It's the Super Bowl. He's going to get the it's a full
I'm
catch
trying to
lower.
win this thing, right?
It's the chalkiest thing I took with 75 points. And then the other side of it, Cooper Kupp, we've been talking about this number. We told you it's going to keep climbing. Even though I'm smart just like you. I got down super early. 102.5 receiving yards is when we first talked about it. It's now 110.5, but I will go
Thrive.
over.
Yeah, I'm going under.
I will go over because I just don't want to fade Cooper Kupp, Sean. You're going to hate the position of fading Cooper Kupp. So yeah, my last two.
And maybe I'm being
Cooper
cute,
Kupp
but
over.
that's when you're trying to play these big field tournaments. Again, I'm not going to bet a Cooper Kupp under receiving yards or under catches, but when you're trying to win these big field tournaments, I think having a strong position, you're creating leverage off the field, Ryan.
Sean came here with positive EV plays only today. So my last two were the Cooper Kupp double over there.
Cool. And my last one, Odell Beckham Jr. under a half receiving touchdown.
Be careful.
Yeah, again, I don't of those. I was kind of stretching here at the end. I don't like messing with Odell because I do think,
Sean, we may have a source.
I do think Odell has the
close to the situation.
Yeah.
Close to the Odell situation. I'm telling you, if he has
he's has a kid
before the game, he's scoring a touchdown.
And that one of my Thrive Fantasy props, that one to me was the biggest stretch, but I kind of needed a zag there to close things out.
Who did you want to give out your ice picks? I know you hate giving out ice picks.
I refuse to give out my ice picks. Who do you got for your ice picks? Right?
Jamar Chase fade, 80.5 receiving yards under plus 115 points. Again, that one, the number in the wild is I think, is it 78 now?
Yeah.
And so the price is just not right. And then I'm also going Tyler Boyd under 4.5. That kind of should have gotten that on my main card. That seems like a lock. All right, moving on.
All right, we got some. Give out an official DFS lineup before we do that.
But seriously, there's like $65,000 in overlay right now.
Massive
for Thrive
overlay opportunity over at ThriveFantasy.com. Also, great opportunities this weekend at Stable Duel. They're giving away. I gotta double check this, Ryan. I'm going right to the source, going right to the horse's mouth, because I can't believe they're actually giving away $30,000 this weekend. Are you kidding me? What a way to kick off the Saturday. Just imagine having a nice Saturday college basketball slate and some ponies up on the screen as well. StableDuel.com. They have free games. They have paid games. Obviously, get involved in some of these opportunities to win massive amounts of cash. They help you with putting your stable together as well. And again, we have a horse racing Slack channel dedicated to this stuff. A bunch of fun posts as well up on the site, breaking down Stable Duel strategy. Download now over at StableDuel.com. See how many winners you can pick in your stable. I'll see you in the winner's circle. Play, race. Most importantly, win. Let's go.
Showdown lineups, always fun.
Showdown lineups. Before we get to that, PropSwap.com, where America goes to buy and sell real sports bets. People know about PropSwap. They're going to be doing their live hedging over at PropSwap.com for the Super Bowl.
That sounds fun, actually.
Yeah. Again, hedging, normally not a huge hedger, but PropSwap.com, you can create some really fun middles.
I have a content idea. You get a true auctioneer.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
To have an audio
live auction.
I love that. All right.
But again, what's awesome about PropSwap, you don't need to actually win to to make money, which is a great concept.
Colby would have made a lot of money this year on those Heisman tickets if he listened to us.
Exactly. Should have sold Matty Corral when he was even money.
40 to 1 he was.
PropSwap.com, promo code SGP, and again, instant deposit match up to $500. Kramer, who is your captain in your DFS line?
I'm zigging. Normally, I'm a contrarian guy. Give me Cooper Kupp. Made the lineup fit. I'm playing in pretty much a Rams onslaught, tiny bring back. But yeah, Cooper Kupp. Why are we trying to figure out ways to not have Cooper Kupp in there?
I do not have Cooper Kupp in my lineup.
I understand being different is better but Cooper Kupp just crushes every slate. So give me Cooper Kupp to crush the Super Bowl.
Well, that seems like a cash game strategy, Ryan. I'm trying to win $1 million. Okay. And I'm going to do that by having T Higgins in my captain spot. Let's go, T.
Yeah, I got him in my. I got him as my solo bring back. T Higgins 7,600.
Also got Joe Burrow. Obviously, want to stack quarterback there, and possibly first touchdown at 30 to 1 would be pretty sweet for the DraftKings lineup. So give me Joey B in there as well.
Yeah, I obviously stacked Stafford at 10,800 with Kupp. Thought about making him my captain, but Cooper Kupp just too good. So Stafford stacked with Kupp.
This next one, I have some wiggle room. He's only 4,400 right now. CJ Uzoma, again, him saying he's willing to jump in a giant. He said he's willing to bathe in a pool of Skyline chili if the Bengals win the Super Bowl. That kind of commitment, throwing the knee brace off. It's either going to be an amazing performance or he's going to completely flail out. I'm going to keep an eye on practice reports, but he's in there for now. The energy this guy's bringing to the Super Bowl, I do not want to fade. So give me CJ Uzoma, $4,400 there.
If I was playing a Bengals lineup, he would be in there. Odell Beckham, 8,400, double stack with Stafford. The closer we get to the game, the more that I think I'll be on Odell Beckham overs as well.
Also, I'm going Bengals defense, $3,200. And again, the game script I've been throwing out is the Bengals defense are going to create some turnovers, and that's how they're going to win this game. So, especially a special teams touchdown, you want to have a DST. I think, regardless how you play it.
DST. I have the Rams. They're my DST, Sean, because they're going to get a shitload of sacks, high floor, and of course, sacks bring fumbles, and fumbles bring touchdowns. So
also doing a double stack or triple stack at this point with Jamar Chase, 10,400. Again, I think they're going to get it done in the passing game. I think they may struggle a little bit to run the ball. Again, I think it's going to be kind of an ugly game, but I love the PPR upside. With Jamar Chase as well.
It seems we built our lineups with a similar fashion. We're going triple stack with the defense.
Yep. Who is your Bengal, right?
And T Higgins was my bring back, but my third for the triple stack, Ben Skowronek. 600. Let's go. Thought about making him the captain, but
well, and again, and this guy,
when he scores the first touchdown of the first half and the first touchdown of the second half, he's going to break the slate. And we're gonna have bags of cash.
Let's go.
Might as well.
This next guy, I know I picked him not to have a touchdown in Thrive Fantasy, but I do think he gets a ton of PPR points, some yards after the catch. Give me Odell Boat Trip Beckham himself at $8,400.
We'll end up being on some overs, I think, for Odell. Old time's sake, just throwing it back. It's Super Bowl weekend.
Super Bowl weekend.
Get wasted.
Listen to that boat trip music.
How is Odell going to win a Super Bowl?
He's not, Ryan, but he is going to get a ton of PPR points. All right, we got actually one more bonus interview coming up. Before we get to that, want to shout out betterfantasy.com, BETTOR fantasy.com/SGPN. Head over there for the big game. Get all your Super Bowl props in. Let it ride over there. BETTOR fantasy.com/SGPN. Completely free to play. Can win a ton of cool credits that you can use for gift cards or even donating to charity. betterfantasy.com/SGPN. BETTOR fantasy.com/SGPN. Joining us here on the Sports Gambling Podcast, legendary agent Leigh Steinberg. Leigh, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
Well, and legendary. If people aren't familiar with your work as an agent, this is an amazing stat. You represented 8 number 1 overall picks in the NFL draft. Is that true?
That is true, and 64 first-round draft picks.
That's crazy. That is a crazy streak. That's I mean, that's just insane. Do you have what's your method for finding these picks, for getting them signed to your roster?
Well, our philosophy is the athlete is role model. So I'm looking for young men that will retrace their roots and go back to the high school community and set up a scholarship fund or work with the church or Boys and Girls Club. At the collegiate level, repay their scholarship like a Troy Aikman. And at the pro level, set up a charitable foundation that makes an impact. So that's like Patrick Mahomes, 15 in the Mahomies. And so you're looking for those qualities. And then usually it's the parents who are the screeners. So you're really dealing with the parents of a player before you ever meet the player.
You're selling the parents.
The handler's got to be convinced.
That makes a lot of sense. And what kind of you had mentioned Patrick Mahomes. You are Patrick Mahomes' agent. When you're watching these games, is it tough because I would imagine you have players on a lot of times both sides of the game?
Well, like we're here at the Super Bowl, so I remember there was one where Pittsburgh played Dallas in 1995, and I had all the quarterbacks on both rosters. And moreover, I had like Carnell Lake on Pittsburgh trying to intercept Troy, and Darren Woodson trying to intercept Neil O'Donnell or Ben Roethlisberger. And so but the worst is the all-time sack leader, Bruce Smith, was my client.
Pokey great.
And I watched a wonderful highlight reel they had, and I realized that he was sacking these guys ferociously, and they all were my clients.
You're like, you're hurting our business, Bruce. What are you doing?
Awkward moment at the company picnic.
Hey, great year, but if you don't mind rolling off the quarterback a little bit, I'm sure you're asked a lot of like negotiation tactics, but just out of curiosity, what has been the easiest deal of all time for you? I imagine even Patrick Mahomes, his contract, you just walk in and you go, hey, I got Patrick Mahomes, let's do this deal. Like, has there been one that's just been completely a breeze?
Well, right now they have a salary cap for rookies, so there's really not endless amounts of negotiability to it. When you have a committed team and an irreplaceable player, those are the easiest, because really all you're talking about is what the rational market ought to be, but it's not like if you have a franchise quarterback, there's any question about what he means to the team. You cannot win in contemporary football without a franchise quarterback, someone you can build around for 10 to 12 years, someone you can win because of rather than with.
Yeah, that seems to be the difference. A quarterback you can win with, but then a quarterback you win because of, and that really seems to separate the two. Quarterbacks always get a lot of attention in the draft, but a lot of people are saying, the draft experts, hey, this isn't a great quarterback draft. It seems inevitably teams fall in love in this pre-draft process. If you had to make a guess right now, who do you think is going to be the first quarterback selected in the draft?
Probably the quarterback from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett.
Yes. Again, you've got a certain number of teams that need them. You've got unsettled quarterback situations in several franchises, but they did a really good job of reloading over the last year. Yeah. So you look at the AFC, where you've got Patrick and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, and you've got Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. I mean, there's been a huge turnover, and so they've already got the next generation intact. So what happens with quarterbacks is they get pushed up in the draft because I remember the year Troy Aikman came out, he was in a draft with Deion Sanders and Barry Sanders and Derek Thomas. They all were rated higher than him on the raw rating number, but he went first because the position is so excruciatingly hard to fill. And then when you fill it, you have to coach it correctly. And I'm stunned by how little coaching in certain situations happens and how they just throw the guy out there.
That's how the game's changed. It's just the urgency has led it to believe you don't coach at all. You just get him out there and let him learn on his own.
Well, and the positive part of that is you're now spotting quarterbacks much earlier in their career. So instead of like Carson Palmer not being the first pick till he played his last season, you have guys at 10 or 12 years old who are playing in 7-on-7 camps, who are using personal tutoring. They're much more sophisticated.
Yeah, no, it totally. It's kind of changed in that sense. I know you were on the you were a chairperson for the Save the Rams committee, trying to keep the Rams in Southern California. Obviously they left to St. Louis for a while. And then you were active in bringing the team back to Los Angeles?
So, again, I grew up a Ram fan, and my son came to me when they were about to move, and he said, "Dad, are they taking Disneyland too?" And the concept of these franchises moving is unnecessary. In '95, St. Louis had lost its team. Baltimore had lost its team, and the league could have expanded and put franchises back there. You never would have had Cleveland stolen. You never would have had the Rams taken.
We could have a team in Cleveland and St. Louis right now. It's the NFL, right?
Right. So the point is, it didn't make any sense. So we fought really hard, and we actually won a vote in '94. What we imagined was something called a sports town that would be contiguous to the stadium, but would be virtual reality rides, sports themed, retail. One of the problems is if you spend like SoFi $5 billion on a stadium and it has 10 home dates, that's a little difficult.
Yeah, you got to figure out how to get some more teams in there, or have two teams split it, or whatever.
So I'm so happy to have my hometown team back and the Super Bowl here.
Yeah.
And, it's been 30 years. Last time it was here, I had Troy Aikman in the game, and against the Bills, and then I had Thurman Thomas and Bruce Smith on the Bills.
Man.
But
so do you have? Yeah, I guess you already know your speeches. The one is congratulations, you're the best. Oh, sorry, next year. So you already know you're going to be on both sides.
My job is going into the losing locker room.
Yeah, the guy who won doesn't need any help. He's hanging out, taking a photo with Christy Brinkley.
Yeah, so somebody else gets have that pleasure. I have to deal with where the hurt is.
Now, is it true you were the movie Jerry Maguire was actually based off you, the Tom Cruise character?
Well, Cameron Crowe called me up in 1993, the writer-director, and asked if he could follow me around and pick up atmosphere for a film based on a sports agent. So he went to the '93 NFL draft where I had Drew Bledsoe pick first. He went to the press conference with Bill Parcells. He went to Pro Scouting Day at SC, came to a series of games, and I told him lots of stories, lots and lots of stories. And then he went off and wrote the script, and I vetted the script to make sure
it sounded legit.
Yeah, so that you wouldn't, if you were an actual sports fan, you wouldn't think the look was phony or the dialogue was silted. Then I took Cuba Gooding Jr. with me down to the Super Bowl in Phoenix and made him pretend he was my wide receiver client all week.
That's great.
Yeah, and
a bunch of people don't know football. Like, oh yeah, I followed you in college, Cuba. You were great. Have you ever said before the movie came out, "Show me the money"? Or was that a Cameron Crowe line?
No, that line was Cameron, but it came from Tim McDonald, who was a strong safety for San Francisco, was looking around for teams in free agency, and Cameron was watching the process. So they went upstairs to Tim's hotel room in Palm Desert, and Lou Dobbs and Money Line was on CNN, and Cameron asked Tim, what is it that you're looking for? What are you trying to find? He said, I'm looking for a team to show me some victory. I'm looking for a team to show me some a great financial package. I'm looking for, and then Cameron wrote, show me the money.
Yeah, show me the money's a little, that really.
Catchier.
Yeah, that really nailed it. Let's say you are a podcast host and your contract is up for renewal. You're doing really well as a podcast, as a show. What advice would you give the podcast host for working out their renewal deal? Leverage.
You have to have an alternative offer.
Okay.
And you have to know what you'll do in the absolute apocalyptic chance that it just doesn't work out.
Take my talents to South Beach. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Gotta have a backup plan.
It's leverage.
Always need an out.
Now I know it's obviously mostly agents, but are you dealing with any of the new media stuff, the broadcasting stuff? Do you deal with that as well?
Oh, there was a time I represented about 50 media types, but we've dabbled in the internet. I created something called Athlete Direct back in the 90s, which was put at that point Ken Griffey Jr., Michael Jordan, and the football quarterbacks up on the internet. And the very first time, you still had to use AOL, but it was
a little dial-up modem.
It was the very first time that you could talk directly to a player and everything, and it blew up. So we're always looking at new forms of technology, esports, and everything else.
Yeah,
nice.
Sports gambling podcast, stuff like that.
Sports gambling is here.
Yes.
Oh, tell me about it.
You're going to see pari-mutuel betting at stadiums.
It's gonna be awesome.
We cannot wait.
All right, Lee. Before we let you go and appreciate the time, who do you got winning Super Bowl 56?
I'll have the Rams.
Rams. Hey, can we get a score?
Let's go 31-28.
Oh,
31-28.
beautiful.
Okay, so Rams win. They don't cover, but they hit the over. All right. Well, appreciate it, Lee. Thank you so much for coming on, and I'd say best of luck, but I think you're doing all right.
Best
for
of
yourself.
luck, Lee.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Oh man, that'll do it. That'll do it for the Super Bowl week of podcasts. Again, big thanks to all our guests. Big thanks to Blue Wire for getting us here, making this all happen. And of course, you, the listeners, keeping that content train going.
Smash that subscribe button.
Obviously, make sure you do yourself a favor. Everyone you know, get in that SGPN app contest for a free shot to win up to $100,000 in the SGPN app. Ryan, next time we'll be talking Super Bowl pregame show, 1:00 Pacific on. I'm not even going to tell you what day it's on. If you don't know when the Super Bowl is, you're not listening to this show, so it's not even relevant.
But Sean, we didn't tell them when they'll see us next. How could the call to action be successful?
All right. And thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, spreading the word about the Sports Gambling Podcast. And for the Sports Gambling Podcast,
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Let's fucking go, Sean. Super Bowl's here.
Let it ride.